Well, good morning, everyone. I'm back. Once again, welcome to another live this morning. Hope you're doing well. Good to have you on with us. We appreciate you guys more than you know. And let me see here. We're going to say hello to a few folks here. Brahim, you're number one on the hit parade this morning. From Portland, Oregon, Mike from Norland, good morning. Andrea, Niagara Falls. And Eric from Ottawa, good morning. We appreciate you guys. And Lori Lee, Ventura, California. Sandra from Aurelia. And Mary from Norwich, good morning to you. Rosalinda, the Kidneys. Niagara Falls, Madeleine, Kippawa, Quebec, Jerry. New Brunswick, go Habs, go. Shirley. Newfoundland, Lenora, good morning. Sandy, good morning. And Kristen, how are you? And Janice from Brampton, good morning to you. Carol, Wasaga Beach, let's go swimming. Lisa, good morning. Gary from Bolton, good morning to you. Georgie, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Wendy, good morning. Markham. And Nick from our staff. And Fran from Orangeville, good morning. Diane, how are you from LaSalle? Yolande, bonjour. And Francis from Vaughan. Keith, good morning. Bell River. Yvonne, Petawawa. And Dale, good morning. And Milika, how are you from Stouffville? And I think it said Janice. Carol, Moncton, New Brunswick. Donna from Park Hill. Catherine from Springdale, Newfoundland. Jan, how are you? Karen, Peterborough. Lorna, good morning. Veronica, how are you? And Bruno, okay, here we go. And Deb, Motown. And how do I say that? Patricia, Shelley. And Gertie, good morning, Burlington. Nancy, Iowa. And Sue, good morning, Manitoulin Island. And Donna from Bell Valley. And Beverly, good morning. Couple more, here we go. Lori from Niagara Falls. We have a Lori from Ventura, California. And Lori, Fran. Oh, I think I said hello to you. Rachel, Luella, good morning. Lorna. Oh, gosh, I missed again. No, I didn't mean to. Mary. This background is different than the background I was in Florida. Mary. John, good morning. Kevin, how are you? How did I miss you, Kevin? Derek, good morning. And Jean from Strathroy, good morning. Okay. Where's the whiteboard? Right behind me. Okay, this morning we're going to continue with headlines. We had so many come out in the last several days that I just got to bring these back up. We're going to do a little bit of a deeper dive on some of these because they're so interesting. We're going to look at these things, but let's just go through a couple of more headlines. So we'd call it headlines, news behind the news. Okay? These are health, news, studies, research, papers, and, okay, cortisol and insulin. Okay, new study on cortisol and insulin. Now, where's my book, Two Hormones That Want You Dead? I don't see it, but I write about it all the time. Serial killers, two hormones that want you dead. What wants you dead? Man, that was a successful book. People like that title, Serial Killers. And it wasn't cereal with a C. Real serial killers are insulin and cortisol. Okay? And medicine really hasn't caught up yet. I mean, it's very hard or very difficult to get physicians thinking about cortisol. They just don't. It doesn't register when it comes to testing it. Everybody's stressed, so why worry about it? Well, cortisol over a period of time can be very, very detrimental. Here's a new study that talks about cortisol and insulin resistance. Okay? Now here's what happens. Never spike. This is the paper. Never spike glucose within 2 or 3 hours of sleeping. Okay? Now you guys know this because I talk about it all the time. One of the best ways to settle your stomach, whether you have gallbladder problems, digestive problems, stomach problems, whatever, don't eat at night. I talk about that all the time. Try the earlier you eat and then stop at night. The earlier you eat and then stop, you're really practicing intermittent fasting. Okay? Do your fasting, make sure to try and, look, it's not always possible. I get that. I understand that. Okay? I'm talking in generalities. If you get, the best habit to get into is don't eat at night. But I'm going to give you another reason for it based on this paper that was published. Never spike your glucose within 2 to 3 hours before going to bed. And so I talk about don't eat for a lot of reasons at night. And the number one reason, I've talked about this for years and years and years and years and years. I have a protocol to get rid of gallbladder problems. Okay? If your gallbladder is gummed up, and even with stones at times, how do you get gallbladder problems? Because you don't use it. We went fat-free. Your gallbladder's made for emulsification. It's made for emulsifying fat. And when you don't eat fat, and we went on a fat-free craze, there's all sorts of gallbladder problems. Okay? So one of my protocols to get rid of gallbladder problems was stop eating at night. Don't snack. Don't eat at night and don't eat late. Okay? Anyway. So that was the primary reason I talk about that all the time, is digestive. People that have acid reflux, people that have IBS, people that have any kind ulcerative colitis, whatever, don't eat at night. Let your digestive tract have a break. Okay? But this research paper was saying, don't spike your blood glucose before going to bed. 2 to 3 hours. You're going to spike your blood glucose if you eat. Now, if you eat the right things, you eat eggs, meat, and cheese, you don't need a lot of, you'll have some glucose made, but you're not going to make a lot of it. But anyway, don't eat at night. And they're saying don't spike your glucose. Why? Because it increases the sympathetic nervous system. It increases your basic metabolic rate. Your body gets geared up. It gets geared up. And your heart contraction goes up. Blood sugar, remember, energy. And your body starts, your sympathetic nervous system gets going. In this research paper, they said that mimics anxiety. It mimics anxiety, and your cortisol goes up. Your cortisol goes up, your blood sugar goes up. Think of what cortisol is, okay? I'm just going to show it to you. Okay? That's cortisol. And again, you need that. You got two little chestnut, the size of chestnuts, glands on top of your kidneys, adrenals, that secrete cortisol. It's on your side. It'll save your life. You see a gang coming at you. You're walking down the street at night and you see a bunch of thugs coming. Cortisol will, you ain't going to fight them. You're going to run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. What am I talking about? Run. Cortisol. Adrenaline. Okay? But when you eat at night, your blood glucose goes up. Your sympathetic nervous system gets going. And then, okay, it mimics anxiety. Your cortisol goes up. Of course, that's going to affect your sleep. And they're suggesting in this study, don't get your blood glucose up at night. Good idea. Eat early. If at all possible, eat early. Be a senior. Most seniors like to eat early. Well, me. Okay, guys? Got the memo? Don't spike your blood sugar. And there's a lot of other reasons digestively not to eat at night. So then you're practicing intermittent fasting. Okay? Now, technically, you're intermittent fasting when you've gone over 14 hours of not eating. Technically. Okay? But any kind of fasting, 12 hours fasting, like if you 6 o'clock at night, 6 o'clock in the morning, well, you might not eat even at 6. You go to 14 hours. Let's say you stop eating at 6 and you don't eat till 8 in the morning. What if you go to 10 in the morning? All good for you. Shorten up your eating windows, okay? Got it? Got the memo from that study? Okay, that was a good one. It mimics, we got 70% of the population that can't sleep. One of the biggest reasons they can't sleep is they don't get enough melatonin because they don't get enough vitamin D. They don't get the sun. Or they wear sunglasses. And they don't let the third eye, your pineal gland, absorb vitamin D. Okay? Got it? Okay. Now, listen to this study. Okay? Like I said, I'm only going to bring you some studies. And we'll pontificate a little bit. Some of these I'm going to go into a much deeper detail down the road. Type 2 diabetics, okay, this is another study. If someone is diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, okay, which is adult onset, which used to be called sugar diabetes, okay? Sugar diabetes. Type 2 adult onset diabetes happening in children. If you get diagnosed before the age of 30, listen to this. It'll go along what I've been saying for a long time. Type 2 diabetics or type 2 diabetes diagnosed before the age of 30 reduces life expectancy by 14 years. This is in the Lancet Diabetes and Endocrinology. Lancet Diabetes and Endocrinology says type 2 diabetics or type 2 diabetes, if it's diagnosed before the age of 30, will reduce that person's lifespan by 14 years. Here's the headline. Here's the headline. Diabetes never ends well. Okay? You got all sorts of medications. You got all sorts of medications, including metformin. I'll bring you the Ozempic craze in a minute. Let's just throw that in there because a diabetes drug that has become so popular for weight loss, Ozempic. Okay? And again, there's another headline, so I'll get to that in a minute. If you get the diagnosis of diabetes before the age of 30, it's going to, on average, cut your lifespan by 14 years. That's a lot, guys. Because it doesn't end well. And that's the headline. Diabetes, medications or not, it doesn't end well. Diabetes medications have a shelf life. What do I mean by that? Is that they work. They'll control your blood sugar. Yes, they will. But they will not affect the outcome long term. Because you're not getting to the bottom line. Diabetes, type 2 diabetes, is a food problem. Type 2 diabetes is an allergy problem. Type 2 diabetes means you're not getting along with carbs. You have an allergy. Every time I see a cat, I think of my cat story. Where I told the patient, you have allergies. She said, Doc, I know. I said, well, what are you allergic to? My cat. I said, get rid of it. She said, I can't. I said, well, I can't help you. If you have trouble with insulin, you and carbs don't get along, and you have an allergy to carbs. You know, people ask me all the time, Doc, I got an allergy to dairy, but can I like it? I said, yeah, but it don't like you. You know, you have an allergy. So they're saying type 2 diabetes. Imagine getting the diabetes. Listen, guys, I never, ever, ever. I was in practice for 46 years, okay? And I never saw type 2 diabetes or sugar diabetes or adult onset diabetes in children. That's why they called it adult onset. But today, it's common. Children are diabetics. They don't know it. Because the last thing, what we teach at the Martin Clinic, we teach this, teach it, teach it, teach it. Tony Jr. and I talked about this the other day. We've been saying this so long. The last thing to happen in your body is diabetes. Your body is so intelligent, so fearfully and wonderfully made. It will keep you from if someone's a diabetic, they've been in trouble, they've been in deep doo-doo for a long time. The last thing to happen is for sugar to stay in your bloodstream where you can monitor it and measure it, and it gets up into the high numbers, and people go, I'm a diabetic. You know, it's funny, last week I wasn't a diabetic, but now I got diabetes. I said, nah, you've been a diabetic for a long time. You weren't listening, Linda. You weren't listening to your body, Larry. Okay? In all due respect to Lindas and Larrys out there, you're not listening. Your body was giving you clues. It was trying to talk to you. It was trying to tell you, yes, I know you love carbs, but we don't get along. You know how many times in a day when people send me their blood work and I tell them you have insulin resistance, meaning that your A1C is over 5.4, that means you and carbs don't get along. That's what it means. You have an allergy. And you can deceive yourself, dupe yourself, bury your head in the sand, but your body's trying to tell you something. Isn't it interesting that they do this study? And I'll tell you, it won't come out. It might. I'll tell you the reason it might come out and make headlines. Because what they're going to say, and they don't say it in here, in the Lancet Diabetes and Endocrinology, if you have diagnosed type 2 diabetes, 14 years on average are taken away from your lifespan. Okay? Now, if it ever made the headlines in in traditional media, it would be because they're going to try and tell you, but if you take our medications, metformin, Ozempic, no. This study is saying, in spite of medication, you're still going to lose 14 years off your life span, on average. Folks, this is earth-shattering. It's earth-shattering research. But I've been saying this for so long, it never ends well. The idea is to take the bull by the horns. Number one, understand what the problem is. The problem isn't your genetics. My dad is a diabetic. So is mine. Diabetes all around. It's a weakness. Yeah, it might be a weakness. But at the end of the day, you and carbs don't get along. You have an allergy to them. Hello? That's what it means. That's what it means. So, what do you do about it? What do you do about it? It starts in the kitchen or at the grocery store. It's choices. You're on the Titanic. Plus, if you're diabetic, you already hit the iceberg. Don't play games. Get into the lifeboat. There's a lifeboat out there. It has your name on it. And it's change my diet. Is it going to be easy? No. No, not easy. Is it going to be worth it? Yep. It'll be worth it. Does it work? Every time. Because you're getting at the root of the problem. It works every time. Now, If you're already diabetic, and I'm not talking about whether you stay on meds or not. I don't talk about that. That's between you and your physician. But if you get to the root of the problem, I had a lot of physicians who trusted me, sent me referrals. They were diabetics, they're patients, and they sent them to me. And they said, listen to Dr. Martin. I don't know if they thought they were coming for a pill. They weren't coming for a pill. They were coming for Nutrition 101, teaching, and then accountability. I can't go home with you, but here's the solution. You're going to start the first 30-day reset. That's how the reset started, by the way. Okay? If you don't know the background of the reset, 30 days of eggs, meat, and cheese, it was for diabetic patients. Did it work? Unbelievable. Did it ever work? And then I started using it for hormones, and I started using it for you name it, because it really does do the reset. And the primary advantage of it is that now you're giving your pancreas a holiday, because that's the problem in diabetes. Of course, diabetes is the last thing to happen. The first thing to happen is insulin resistance. Your cells get tired of insulin because they're always knocking at the door. They're always coming around, and your cells get tired of it. But insulin is a big, bad neighbor, and it doesn't care if you tell them to stay home. It comes around anyways, as long as you insist on eating bread, pasta, rice, cereals, any cereal, sugar, sweets, pastries, muffins, bagels. Dr. Martin, it's a whole wheat muffin. Dr. Martin, it's a carrot muffin. It's got carrots in it. I don't carrot. I don't. It doesn't matter. It's going to be sugar in 5 seconds. Okay? It's going to be sugar in 5 seconds. This study should be earth-shattering. Because usually what gets the attention of people and physicians is when you tell people it's like smoking. Okay? It's like smoking. Think about it. Why did stop smoking catch on? Remember, including my father, thought smoking was good for you. In the 9 out of 10 doctors choose Camel. Okay? Medicine actually thought that smoking was good for you. Here, take a cigarette and it'll clear out your lungs. Right? You remember that? Well, if you got to be my age. And then, smoking is bad. I mean, folks, there are some parks that you can't even go smoke outside because people don't want that. And you know what, guys? It's true. Smoking's bad for you. Is there a physician on the planet that would argue that anymore? I don't think so. But yet, they will defend carbohydrates till the cows come home. Pardon the pun. They will defend you need carbohydrates. You need them. Your brain can't work without sugar. I mean, it's moderation. You shouldn't overdo it. And, don't live on ice cream, but you can have ice cream. Yeah. And I'd have a diabetic patient. I go, no. What? No. What do you mean no? No. The toughest word in the English language is no. It's the toughest in Russian too. Nada. Niet. French. No. Okay? It's pas. I used to tell my French patients, no. What? No. Pas de pain. Pas de pain. No bread. What? No bread. I get excited, folks, but I'm telling you, when I see these articles and they come out and actually say it, that lifespan. And guys, the nice thing about our group is that our group knows this. We've known it for a long time. And think about this. Okay? We know that the same thing that causes diabetes is the same thing that causes cancer. It's the same thing that causes heart disease and stroke. It's the same thing that causes Alzheimer's. It's called metabolic syndrome. And it has to do with food. Diabetes, it's food. I'm not even talking about type 1, which is an autoimmune disease. It starts in the gut. Type 1 starts in the gut. Leaky pancreas. Type 1. Different. This is type 2. They changed type 2. They changed the name. Man, you gotta give, really be honest about this. You gotta give the food industry credit. Give them credit. They're marketing geniuses. They changed the name from sugar diabetes. My dad telling me about diabetes in 1968. Son, I have sugar diabetes. Because I asked him a question. Dad, why do you stop? You won't eat any sugar at all. Dad, why are you doing that? Because I have sugar diabetes, son. Do you think I forgot that? Do you think when I got 2,000 hours of nutrition that I ever forgot that from my father's lips? I never forgot it. Son, I have sugar diabetes. And by the time I got into school, they started changing the name of it. It's adult onset. And so what they're saying is it's not food. It's your poor adults that happen to be unlucky. And they leave the kids out of it because what's food got to do with diabetes? And the whole mantra, guys, I watched it happen in my lifetime. The whole mantra was this: moderation, moderation, eat everything in moderation. True or false? It's 100% true. I watched it. And remember, even when I took from all the gurus moderation, I never, ever, ever believed it. Ever. My dad was he was smarter than the average bear, let me tell you that. And he had a huge influence on my life. I never believed that. No, it's sugar, man. I've been against sugar from the day when. And what turns to sugar in 5 seconds? Because it's all a matter of insulin response. My word, I didn't even get to these other studies today. Well, we might have to continue tomorrow. Okay. So you guys, thanks guys for patience yesterday. We didn't have a program, but we thank you for coming on today. Tell your friends, share this, share the information. Tell them to get our new book, Sun, Steak, and Steel. Still available. martinclinic.com. How do you get the new book, Sun, Steak, and Steel? Yeah, thank you for making it #1 in Canada. Health book. We love you. Thank you. Share the message. Let them read. If they don't believe it, well, you can give them information. Okay? You can give them info. You can lead a horse to water. You can't necessarily make them drink it, but you can certainly add some salt to make them thirstier. Okay, guys, we love you dearly, and we'll talk to you soon.